Hello, folks. Good morning. It's 9:55 a.m. I'm having coffee. It's delicious. I am here to talk about Plant Party today, specifically a new minigame that I added, and I want to break down what is happening in the game because there's a few little polished things in here that I find exciting and you might also find exciting. And we are going to let's show you the game and then we'll break down what's happening. So all you gotta do is just hit the ball out of the park. That is the whole game. Pretty simple on first inspection, but let's break down. I'm gonna break down all the things that are happening that make this a little bit nicer than if you just hit the ball. The first thing is we're a saguaro cactus, which I think is very funny. I was thinking about what plant, everything in this game is plant-based, so I was thinking what plant would play baseball. Saguaro cactus has a bat built in. The animation on here is done frame by frame, as is everything in this game, because that's how GameMaker works. We can see if we zoom in, the animation, and we come back. A little sound effect plays when you hit your bat. That's just white noise, which is changed in pitch to go whoosh. So it just starts low and comes up high. When you hit the ball, there's another sound. Should I play that sound? Can I find the sound? It plays a different sound, which is that hit sound, as well as I think it's a triangle synthesizer that goes. Oh, and also I forgot there's a taiko drum in there, a traditional Japanese drum, which gives you the baseball thwack. Very fun. So that is what's happening with the batter. I guess let's go in, and every time I explain something, I'll come in and play again, and you can review it with thine own eyes. There's that little hit noise. Fabulous. The hit zone is over the plate, so if you go too early or too late, you miss the ball. That's a strike. So let's talk about the batter a little bit. The batter has two animations. The first one is this idle animation. Touches his cap, wastes some time, as pitchers often do. Did I say we're looking at the batter? We're looking at the pitcher. He's got a little glove on. I don't know whose uniform this is. It looks kind of like pajamas. That's fine. Yellow, Simpsons character, whatever. So we do that. So to get started with the pitch, we are waiting for that animation to finish. I think we're playing that at 0.125 speed, where 1 is 60 FPS. So we're playing that at 0.125 of full speed. Once that animation finishes, we stop the animation. We go back to no, we don't go back. If we're idle and we're not in the pitch animation, we're going to set the alarm zero time to room speed, so we wait 1 second. And then we switch to the throw animation, and we do that at quarter speed. Let's have a look at the throw animation. The throw animation actually contains the idle animation, so we touch our cap, and we wind up, and we go for the pitch. Now, there would probably be more follow-through in a real pitch, but this just ended up feeling right. I looked at reference photos of an actual baseball player doing the pitch, and kind of followed those steps as best as I could, with my artistic ability being what it is. Now the sprite origin is here, and it is there because when the pitch comes, that's where the hand is. Bada bing, bada boom. So it spawns right where the pitcher's hand is. So that's what's going on with the pitcher. The thing that is most interesting in this whole situation, I guess let's play again and you can watch those pitcher animations, knowing the inside baseball, as it were. Have a little look-see. Idle animation, 0.125 speed. Now we come in, full speed pitch. Beautiful. I should have a little animation where he looks at the ball. That would be actually quite fun. I should do that. Okay, so the baseball. Baseball itself has a little animation. It's teeny tiny. Here it is. I don't think that's what baseballs actually look like, but it looks good in game. The baseball has a spin to it. Awesome. So the baseball, a little drag and drop code here. What you want? The baseball starts here. It starts at normal size, which is what, 12 pixels by 12 pixels. As we move, we've got some funky logic going. So the scale of it increases as it moves. So as it comes towards you, we have a like perspective type of thingy going on. So the ball gets larger as it comes towards you. So it looks like it's getting closer to you. When the ball is going away from you, so if our vertical speed is less than 0, meaning we're going this way, this is really sketchy code here. Don't worry about how sketchy this is. We switch to subtracting from image size. So dividing the absolute value of the vertical speed by vertical speed gets us 1 or -1. So that means if speed is positive, we're +1. If speed is negative, going up, then we're -1. So that means we're either making it bigger or making it smaller. I don't know why I did it this way and didn't just do it up there, but this value is offsetting that so it doesn't shrink as quickly as it would if we were just strictly using the modifier. That's a weird way to do it. I don't remember why I did it. I was watching home movies while I was working. It works, and that's fine. It's a game jam game. When we hit vertical speed of less than 0, so we're in the negatives and it's going this way, we also decrement y a little bit in addition to the vertical speed. And we do that so it looks like it's moving away from us, and also it gives it the impression that it's moving upwards. Now, kids, here's the important thing is that I had an onion tied to my belt. First of all, depth to -y so that it's either in front of or behind the picture as it goes. It doesn't really matter, but there's a few frames where it does matter. You'll notice image angle. Remember this variable here, but image angle, this is a really cool thing. When you hit the ball and it decides what direction it's going in based on where you hit the ball will actually get a spin on it, and the direction of the sprite will change, which is really subtle, but is a really nice little effect. Okay, here's the really important bit that kind of makes this whole thing look visually like it's supposed to. We have a... oh, we're debugging. We don't need to be debugging. We are drawing the sprite underneath the sprite, and we are doing that because the ball needs a shadow. If you don't have a shadow, there is no sense of how high the ball is. So we see it getting closer towards us, but there's no visual frame of reference for where the ball actually is vertically in this fake 2D zone, because this is all two-dimensional, and we're trying to create the fake impression of three-dimensionality, and we're doing that with perspective tricks and with a shadow beneath the ball to show its height. So there's a couple things that we are doing there. The first is setting the y value proportional to where the ball is in relation to the room height. So as it gets further back, it gets further away from the ball. So as it gets higher, we want it to get lower. As it gets closer to us, we want it to get closer, and we do that for perspective reasons, and we also do that for height reasons, so that the ball gets higher and the shadow gets further away, and that gives the impression of being higher up. We are also setting the scale of it, so that as the ball gets lower, remember that d variable we had in the other instance, the shadow gets larger. And all of these things put together, keep your eye on the ball, always your eye on the ball. If we put all that together, it gives the impression that the ball is going up in the air. And all of that was figured out as I went along, because I had the ball coming. Like, well, it doesn't really look like it's actually in the air. You need to really play with this to get the impression that it is actually in 3 dimensions. You'll also notice we have the y scale at half of what the x scale is, and that's because we want to give, once again, 3-dimensionality, and if the shadow is as long as it is wide, it just looks like it's in 2D and it's directly behind the ball. So that is all of the things that are going into baseball here. That's the inside baseball behind inside baseball, or otherwise known as Plants with Batitude, because everything is kind of a pun, if you could even call it that, on attitude. I guess the other thing maybe worth talking about is the music behind this. It starts out with just the opening of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Not Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I don't actually know what that's called. Dun 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 dun. We have these little notes added up here just for flavor, but if we take those out. Just to give it a little more escalation there, I added those notes. But then we surprise the player by switching into these chords here. Very tense. And we do that because if you do it with the dun 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 dun, you are expecting the music to stop as the pitcher pitches, and you are expecting da 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 to come in once you've hit the ball. The problem with that is that refrain getting to dun 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 is actually pretty long, and so the player is just waiting there watching the pitcher touch his cap while you wait to get to the part where he can pitch. And if you cut it out before then, it feels weird and anticlimactic. So in order to keep this refrain, I don't know what you call this, baseball wind-up, I switched it so it was not actually that, and by the time you get to the part where it rises, dun 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 dun, it's already switched, and it's playing with your mind, and we've got this little skiffle here, this little melody that increases tension. Oh, so it must be the baseball theme, but what? What? The other thing that is driving this along, besides these tense chords, is we have a bass line that comes in the second half here. So all is normal. You think it's normal? What? Getting weird. And then really amping it home here. The bass is kind of doing its own thing. So you've got the notes here halfway into these two chords. It stops on dun, da, 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 instead of just da, da. I don't think that's actually da. It's, oh no, it is. I guess I just got perfect pitch. And right before the end of the chord, we switch to going down da, 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 and that gives us a lead in and a driving thing, like, okay, we know we're about to switch chords. And just a fun little lead out with the bass line there, kind of once again doing its own thing. And here's the funny thing about this. The maximum this minigame can go is, I think, less than 10 seconds. 10 seconds is the timer on a normal minigame. The longest this can go, I think, is like 7 seconds. If you hit the ball and it goes out, it takes the longest path it can take. I think that's the longest that can go, and the full thing is 15 seconds. So you'll never actually hear the 15 seconds in game, which means I really need to release a fantastic soundtrack to this game. Catch the OST on, I don't know, SoundCloud, I guess. That is all I had to say, which is a lot to say about this 7-second baseball game. Thank you for watching.